No fighting there has broken out, but some shots were fired on Tuesday. Our senior international correspondent Ben Wiedemann joins us now live from Sevastopol in Crimea. Ben, what do you know about this incident?
Well, this incident took place at the Belbek air base, which is just outside of Sevastopol, and that is one of about 10 military installations that has been surrounded or in some cases partially taken over by these men in green. I think we should just call them Russian forces. In this case, however, the commander of the Ukrainian forces at that base decided not just to sit still, but actually to go out and face the Russians peacefully. Just look at this video.
Тише. Советский флаг, мужики, советский флаг. Вы стрелять будете? Боевое знамя!
What's interesting here is that this came very close, the closest I think we've seen so far in this crisis in the Crimea, to actually sort of posturing becoming something much worse. It really was just for the prevalence of cool heads in this case that bloodshed was avoided. So at the macro level, there does seem to be some sort of diplomatic wiggle room, some slight suggestion that the crisis might be abating. This incident at Belbek shows that it just takes one small misstep to change the course of events here. Andrew?
It's certainly an incredibly tense scene there, Ben. As you say, one shot could make an enormous change to what's happening on the ground there. You talk about the men in green, and you say quite clearly that they are Russian soldiers. President Putin is saying that he has not ordered Russian soldiers in from Russia into Crimea. Why is it so clear? What are the indications that these are, in fact, Russian soldiers?
Well, certainly their demeanor, for one thing. Now, we do run into fairly often this sort of impromptu so-called civil defense groups. These tend to be young men, some of them with military fatigues they may have picked up in the market, but no weapons, sometimes clubs, and they're undisciplined, they're talkative in some cases, but when you run into these other men, the men in green, they all wear standard uniforms, standard weapons. Many times they're masked and they don't talk for the most part. Although yesterday we were at the port of Kerch in the far eastern part of the Crimea, where we ran into about 100 of these so-called men in green, and we spoke to their commander. He openly said, yes, I'm from the Russian Black Sea Fleet, and I'm commanding these men, and we are Russian. So I don't think there's any question. Now, President Putin may be working on a fine point here. Many of these troops obviously are normally stationed in the Crimea under the agreement signed between the Ukraine and Russia back in the 1990s, and they simply came from their bases in the Crimea and were deployed to places like Kerch, to places like Belbek. It's not altogether clear how many other outside forces, rather Russian forces, came into the Crimea, but there was already a significant number of Russian forces inside the peninsula before this crisis even broke out.